Hey everyone and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where today we are doing the fates, or remaining fates, of the Sea of Clouds. As usual, we're going to be just focusing on a few highlights. In particular, we are starting with this area's 30-minute boss fate on Dangerous Ground. This boss fate will give an achievement as well as a minion for clearing it. We had a party of 4 people who joined us today. Me, my friend Autumn, and from our raid group, Sherazad and Avarin. Though we've actually recently got Autumn to start joining in the raid group, so that's exciting. More friends to join the party. On Dangerous Ground, fighting the Grounds Eater. After centuries of protecting the land, one groundskeeper had enough and began devouring the very stuff he was tasked with defending. Decommission the Grounds Eater before there are no islets left in the sky. Sounds like you would get along very well with Bismarck, to be honest. I assume you are the reason why this area over here is a little bit more devoid of grass and plant life and everything. Alright, this one is a bit of a long fate. It is, of course, a boss fate. Those always take a little while, especially with an undersized party. Went ahead and told my team to use their food buffs, as these boss fates are always a good time for those food buffs, just for the extra bit of DPS to help out. And a little bit into the fight, we also do end up inviting Novice Network. Yep, Sherazad's going to go ahead and invite them right now. Novice Network is frequently used for relaying, hey, there's some interesting thing going on, so that new players who haven't done it yet can, join in the fun. So relaying to Novice Network, a few extra people are going to come in and assist and help us clear this fate a bit faster, though we are already about 10% through. There's not really too much to comment on. It will occasionally summon ads, particularly wind sprites. Not too much going on with this fate, so I'm going to go ahead and meet you back at the next fate. Alright, and the boss is going down. Yeah, that took a bit of time. It took nearly 8 minutes to clear. Not too bad, but also long fight. We get the achievement Fantasy Islet, and we also get the Gold Rush minecart. I end up putting the Gold Rush minecart into my collection off screen on my own time. We will go over the description for it next time we do a main story episode, I believe. Next up, we are looking for Zundu Fugitive has our next fate. This one is a pair of fates, a sequential fate sequence. That's, wow, redundant, very redundant. Department of Redundancy Department indeed. Alright, the Zundu Fugitive will have their fate and then a follow-up, so we're going to be doing both of those. And then after that, there's going to be a triplet of fates as well to wrap up today. Netherling, hear my plea. Zundu suffers long as prisoner of the Vundu. Vundu chief uses my poor back as stool for his stinky feet. An unending storm of pain and indignity. Zundu escapes, flies here, oh god, I went too fast. Flies here with the speed of gusting winds, but my weary legs can carry me no further. Oh, how I long to feel the gentle breeze of Zundu once more. Netherling will guide me home, yes? I went too fast for that, I'm so sorry. Yelling at past me for this. A young member of the Zundu tribe, kidnapped and forced to serve as a footrest for the Vundu elder, has escaped his captors and is trying to return home. The elder, displeased that his favorite footrest has flown the coop, has gathered a small army to search for every cookhouse, come on game, with a terrible background, birdhouse and outhouse in order to reclaim what he rightfully abducted. Alright, and of course we've got the Vundu en route. Escort fate, not too bad, just gotta get you all the way back to your home. The trek isn't too terribly long, just gotta keep you alive. Though we did end up running into a rather interesting thing en route. Also, I found it very funny that the minion I ended up with for today was the minecart minion, and then we get the Gold Rush minecart minion from a fate. Just very convenient timing, I suppose. Also, you can see our clock in the top right. Recorded this very late at night for me. Normally I'm asleep by this time, but my work has been putting me on some interesting shifts lately. Including closing shifts and evening shifts, so... recorded this one right at the tail end of an evening shift. With the friends who happen to still be awake for that. And here comes another wave. Hello, Vuklai Vundu. And the Wind Sprite decided to join in the fun. And I think we have an A rank right here that we're passing by. Yeah, Enceladus. That is an A rank hunt mark for Heavensward. I think what we ended up doing is Autumn drew its attention because I'm too low in stats for it at the moment. And we don't have a healer on hand. My stats would be fine, we just don't have a healer on hand. And we're level synced. But yeah, I think Autumn ended up unsyncing from the duty, grabbing the Enceladus' attention, and pulling it away from us until we were far enough away that it would de-aggro. Ow. And then after this pair of fates, we ended up going and killing it and found that despite the fact I've not unlocked the top tier of hunt logs for Heavensward yet, still got the rewards for the Centurio seals. Not surprising that I got the rewards, but nice to know for sure. Alright, yeah, there goes Autumn. Yeah, Autumn was just trying to pull it away. Alright, and this I think it's either the last or second to last wave of Vundu we have to fight. We're almost back home. Oh, and of course they're also coming from behind. They really don't want our fugitive to escape. Alright, looks like, yeah, we are at the end of the fate. Now we just gotta wait for a minute and the next fate will begin. At last, the storm is over and blue skies return. Here, Zundu is safe as a bird in its mother's breast. Nuzzling as strong as wind and gentle as a kiss of morning dew. Zundu, remember your kindness for many summers to come. What is this? Am I saved? My brother, you look as if battered by raging winds. Oh, what fortune, like a ray of sun breaking through the clouds you are. My brother, your heart seems as restless as the stormy seas. Were you perhaps chased here by the cruel Vundu? Worry not, for I shall guide you home on a gentle breeze. Come and take shelter under my wing. Thank you, brother, my heart shines like the sun. Your breathing grows heavy, brother. Let us rest here. Ah, the rest refreshes me like a mountain spring. Thank you, brother. Now let us be off before the storms come. Why rush? I see no clouds on the horizon. Curses, what is keeping them? You speak, brother? No, it was just the rustling of the wind. Finally, I thought spring might come before you arrived. The warrior who kindly agreed to escort the former footrest back to the Zundu village has turned out to be a Galakat's Paw, the Vundu elder, who kidnapped the young Zundu. It appears that boy will require further escort if he is ever to arrive home. Alright, so our friend there who came to assist in returning our friend home, traitor. One last set of Zundu, or Vundu, sorry, not Zundu, Vundu to work through and we will be safe to get them home. Top 10 anime betrayals indeed. But yeah, that is a bit of a long dialogue sequence there. So it's not surprising that a lot of people don't know it's a two-parter. You'll just fly off. Run off once you're done with the first one because it seems like it's done. But now you stick around, watch the NPCs, and a new fate appears. But thankfully it is an easy fate. Just a few waves of enemies and we're clear. I must hurry back to Okzundu like the wind, and tell my brothers of this Vundu treachery. And they are safely home. On to the final set of fates. This final set of fates is going to be way up in the middle of the area. And these are going to be rather long fates. Like, yes, the fates have at this point synced to the fact that there are 4 people doing fates together, and they've gone a bit tougher as a result. But these are some long fates. Bismarcking time. Vundu High Priest Kenavanu has begun a forbidden rite which, if allowed to continue, will summon forth the very Lord of the Mist, Bismarck. Slay the Beastman and prevent certain tragedy. We've got a boss fate with Kinavanu. For the most part, it's just Kinavanu, but there are other enemies that hang out in the area that can join the fight. I think ads might get some occasionally throughout this, but for the most part, it's just a 1-on-1 or a 4-on-1 in this case with Kinavanu. But yeah, not much too interesting with his fate. We're basically just fighting a black mage. A surprisingly bulky black mage, given that they're a black mage, and those are usually extremely squishy. But yeah, this first one, not too long. While it is synced to the fact there's 4 players, it doesn't take too unreasonably long to clear it, no more than about 3 minutes, which is pretty normal for a boss fight. It's the follow-ups where this gets a little bit ridiculous. Netheling is strong, like a dragon without wings. The skies grow dark. Kinavanu will fight another day. As sure as the night swallows the sun, your time will come. Let there be Acolytes! Acolytes of the temporarily dispatched Kinavanu have sworn revenge on their featherless Netherlings who silenced their master before he could finish teaching them all 73 mysteries of the skies. Alright, so we've got a wave, several waves of ads to deal with. None of them are particularly tough, though they are extremely bulky at this point. But between the bulk and the sheer number of waves, this fate does take a little bit. There really isn't too much interesting happening with it, other than just wave after wave of enemies, so I'm gonna go ahead and meet you back at the last fate. Alright, we're about to wrap up the last wave of enemies. I think that last kill just there was enough. And on to a disturbing lack of faith. It appears Kinavanu was not as thoroughly dispatched as originally believed. And the wandered immediately outside of it. And the High Priest has returned, not with the Lord of the Mist, but with a creature almost as imposing at his side. Wear the impaling talons of the dread Skvadar and slay the beastman who summoned him. Alright, we've got 2 bosses for this boss fate, and they start right on the edge of the fate zone. After a moment, we're going to start pulling them into towards the middle of the fate zone, just to give us a little bit more room to work. Yeah, we're going to do it right here. If I can get them to follow me. But yeah, despite the fact that there's 2 bosses in this boss fate, it does seem to be playing the regular Zundu zone music in this fate, which is intriguing. I believe we ended up kind of splitting the party just a little bit. Autumn focused on Kinavanu, I focus on Skvader. We just whittled them down. I think most of the DPS was focused on Kinavanu. No, Averon's over here with me. Unfortunately, with 2 enemies, it's not enough to really justify AoE attacks. Bard can technically justify AoE attacks on 2, but it's not going to be much of a gain at all. So just splitting the enemies and fighting them one at a time is mostly going to be a worthwhile strategy. Ended up pulling Skvader over towards Kinavanu just to make it a little bit easier for Averon to hit AoEs if she chose to. And because we can't have nice things, the Vundu in the area decided to join the fun as well. Oh goodness, yeah, my computer got really laggy during this fate too, unfortunately. Dropped quite a few frames. I'm thinking now that the week of experimentation is over, I think I'm just gonna go back to playing on console in 1080p. At least for the recordings. For playing on my own, the 4K on my computer looks really nice. I just can't quite manage to get both recording and playing on my computer at the same time. The GPU isn't being stressed enough for it to be the source of the issues. I'm pretty sure it's just a processor issue. Especially since this is a very processor-bound game. Though less so since the graphics update. Alright, Kinavanu down. All focus on Skvader now. And we'll wrap this up nice and quick. Alright, and that is going to be it for Fates for today. So, next time on Final Fantasy XIV, we're moving on to the combat stuff of post-Heavensward. I'll see everyone next time for that.